Hello everyone, how's it going? My name is Dewi and this is my brother.
Hi!
And today we are here to celebrate our 1,000 subscriber count on our channel. So I want to say a big thank you right now to everyone who's been here since the beginning or has joined us recently through our journey. Thank you so much for the support. It's been absolutely fantastic.
I can't believe we've got to 1,000 subscribers this fast, and considering the channel isn't even a year old yet.
Yeah.
The fact that we've gotten to 1,000 this fast is really amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And to so mark that occasion, this big milestone, I want to talk about really our latest passion and what we've sort of been up to recently. And so that is why you've got these models here, because this is what we've been up to more recently is Warhammer, especially with the shorts that, that have been going up on the channel that you may have seen.
Yeah.
When did you start the Warhammer passion?
I started it in spring or summer when I went to the Cardiff Warhammer store, and then I got a box of like Space Marines and Tyranids, brought them home to paint, and then you saw them.
Yeah.
And you've played things like Dawn of War and Space Marine 2 before, so you've already known a little bit about Warhammer beforehand. But then I think I accidentally got you into it, didn't I?
Yeah, I always understood a bit, but I'm not a big, overall nerd when it comes to the Warhammer universe. But I have, played the games when I was a kid. I played Dawn of War games. I played Space Marine 2 as well. And I do love those games. But in terms of the actual play on tabletop, making and painting them, that is where you kind of got me into it, as you said.
And obviously, the whole world of 40k is too much to just sum up. But in terms of the modelling side, you choose your faction, to which you chose Necrons and I chose Tyranids.
Yeah.
And then you paint them, and you play a very overcomplicated version of chess with them, is basically what I would say.
Yes.
And obviously, again, you picked Necrons. Do you want to say why?
Because they're cool, and they're the best race out there.
Well, I wouldn't. The most advanced race, maybe.
They're the best race. It's not even a contest.
No.
Let's be honest. If we all woke up and united the dynasties, then everyone else would,
Yeah, well, let's also be honest. If the full hive fleets arrived, then everybody would be screwed.
It'd still be nothing. It's still, and we don't give you biomass, so it doesn't matter.
No, so then why would we fight you at all?
Exactly.
The only reason we have to fight you is because the Silent King wanting to turn you all back into humans.
Yeah. Anyways, I love the Necrons. I have since when I used to play Dawn of War. But when you start bringing the model, when you started, painting the models and stuff, I was like, what if they do Necron models? And I found out, oh my god, they do as well. So I was like, okay, I'm getting into this. And I think the two dynasties I've been working on right now are the Sarkhan dynasty, which is like the bronzy, runal brass type look there. And the Nilak dynasty, which is like the teal colour with a gold.
Yeah, I've been working on High Fleet Leviathan and High Fleet Behemoth. I want to try doing High Fleet Kraken as my next one. You want to do Emotax one next, don't you?
Yes, the pronunciation of it is like the Sovok dynasty. It's like I guess you could say like black armor playing with the green trim sort of thing around the edge, but a lot of silvery Necrons. But
yeah, so I guess, do you want to show off some of the models that
so do you want to go first?
Yeah. I've got, because we picked on 2 infantry models, then 1 medium and then 1 large.
Yes.
So I've got my 2 Hormagaunts, who are my these are the 2 favourite Hormagaunts I've done because of the poses I put them in. And these are actually quite recent, these 2. And I really like them. Hormagaunts are my favourite infantry.
They have a lot of dice when it comes to their...
they're
3 each, don't they?
Yeah, it's just a shame that they all hit on 4, so you don't get a lot of...
Saying that, I remember a game recently that you did with... Was it with Dad? That you had like a lot of dice that actually made it through his hit rolls?
Yeah, actually.
I
managed to actually do a bit of damage into his tank since, well, obviously he chose Cadians. Then I've got the Lictor. I really like this one. He's probably one of my favourite actual units in the game. I really like this sort of pink wash I put over him, which is a method I realised, early on. But I also really like the tentacles here. And I think overall he's one of my favourite units that I've painted. And then I've got the Swarm Lord, who's my favourite Tyranid because of how powerful he is and how smart he is on the battlefield and all the cool moments he's had. He
does look really cool. I do like the red colour.
Yeah.
Like that tealish blue that you've got as well.
Yeah, he's standing on a rock and a Space Marine corpse there. and there's 2 Ripper Swarms underneath the rock, and I just think he looks really cool. I thought he was too small for being the character that he is, which is why I put him on the rock and stuff, to make him look more imposing. And
that does look quite cool, because you want that, don't you, from a creature called the Swarm Lord, don't you? But I do like the lines that you've got down the armor plating as well.
Yeah, I really like this model. Probably my favourite unit and favourite Tyranid. And then, do you want to show yours?
Yeah, so started with the Necron Warriors, which was my first ever units. So these are in the Sarkhan dynasty. I don't know if the camera is going to show them
should.
too much. But yeah, these were in the Sarkhan dynasty. I got these actually, the first set I actually did have was the Necron Combat Patrol set.
You had an advantage over me with that, because I've taken a couple throughout it. I'd never had the Combat Patrol. So I now have all the units that were in it, but I never actually got the Combat Patrol initially.
Oh, right, okay. Because you did have a lot, though, didn't you? Because I remember I've been trying to play catch-up to try and match your value on the battlefield. With that Combat Patrol, I did also have the Doomstalker, which is quite a chunky-ish unit.
Yeah.
Towering unit. Which I do really love. I love the design of it, the towering massive stalker, you know. I do really like this unit. I like the colours I picked for it, for the Ruined Brass.
Yeah.
Some Canoptic alloy in there as well. And the base, you know, kind of give like this Martian Iron Crust red, like, you know, it's definitely on an alien planet that it gives. Well, I never tried things like rocks and stuff at that time, because this was my first set. But then when I did start to get a bit more used to it, and from your recommendation as well, I did add like things like tufts to the more recent models that I did.
Yes, the Locust Heavy Destroyer.
Yeah, now see, this unit I really do like a lot more. I do like the colours with this one, because you've got like the teal and the gold colours to it. But I do like the base with the tufts and stuff that we've got there, and some of the rocks. There's actually a skull right underneath him, but for some reason, the rocks and the skull...
barely see it underneath them.
There's a tiny bit of white, you might be able to tell, but the problem is that it's really hard. But no, I really like the Nihilak Dynasty Necrons. I think they've got a cool colour scheme to them, that's why I've sort of picked them
I think they're definitely the best looking units that you've had. Because I think that one, the bronze one, is good, but it's a bit sort of... It doesn't pop out as much.
No, I mean, I think this one is like, because they're so ancient, you know, they're sort of rusty, they're sort of mucked up, all that kind of crap. But, you know, you got this one who's a bit more, I guess, you know, fresher, but he is still, you know, got all this, like, stuff in the bricks. They've been asleep, you know, for millions of years, and right now they have started to reawaken and take over everything, which will happen.
No.
But obviously these are just some of the models we have. These are not all of them. This is just, you know, we don't exactly want to fill up the table here. Like, for instance, I'm currently in the process of trying to finish off my Doomsday arc in the Nihilak.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best unit that you've painted so far. It definitely, it looks really good.
But what are you currently making right now?
I'm making the Raveners. I've just finished my Turvagon, who I was going to bring out until I realised that then I wouldn't be able to take him out, and he's my favourite. And, yeah, so I'm working on the Raveners right now. They'll be pretty good, and then after them, I'll be working on the Winged Hive Tyrant. And that will be very cool, because he's a tanky unit, but he has a movement of 12. So he's very fast and he can fly.
Yeah, and the thing is it's the playing side of the game as well. Actually, you know, the play on tabletop that we've been quite enjoying as well.
Yeah.
You know, we play that once, maybe twice a week when we get time. Either you're in school or I'm in work or whatever. And when we do get time, we do play. I think, you know, the battles we do have are quite fun.
Yeah,
certainly been some clutch situations. I love how you brought that lictor up to the camera and just looked over to me, because you know how much I can't stand.
Yes, because I love these for its lone operative and stealth, you know, like being able to deploy anywhere, and -1 to the hit roll for shooting, and also the amount of damage that it does when it actually gets to melee. Because for a small unit, I guess I should say, it does do a lot of damage, hitting on 2s with 2 armor piercing and 2 damage.
Yes.
He's far more powerful than I thought he would be.
Yeah, I can't stand like this just because of the one, Space Marine, two, just playing the game how they ambush you, but also two, just because the game, I remember that one game we had and he just, that one Lictor somehow had the insane rolls I've ever seen and just somehow destroyed an entire like 2 units of mine and like what the
Yeah,
hell's
your Wraiths
happening?
and your Skullpax Destroyers.
It's like what the hell's going on? And yeah, that was a pretty bad game on my bit, to be honest, on my part. But really enjoyed it. Love getting into the hobby. And there's something very satisfying about, you know, painting the units, build them, and actually use them on the battlefield. It's like a strategic game, really, except in real life.
Well, yeah, it is just all about strategy, trying to figure out where to place your units, how to place them, how to play them, and which ones are better for certain situations, you know? Like, for instance, your Locust Heavy Destroyer is good for countering monsters like my Carnifex or Swarmlord.
Yeah.
So it's all about really picking and choosing the battles that you send your units into. At least that's how I read it.
Yeah.
But
the collection's growing. We're getting more and more invested into it. And, you know, in terms of the games, actually, you've never actually played any of the games, have you?
No, I haven't. I want to try and play Dawn of War at some point. I think that would be very fun because of obviously it being a strategic game similar to Warcraft 3, but obviously for Warhammer.
Yeah.
And especially Dawn of War 2 with the Tyranids in it.
Yeah, because that's when they got introduced, which was interesting, because in the first game you had like 9 races, and Tyranids wasn't one of them. They got introduced in the second game, so yeah, definitely did play those two, don't play the third one. But the Dawn of War 4 is coming out next year, so that'll be interesting.
Yes,
and Necrons were definitely one of the biggest highlights in that.
Because they come back in that one. But, yeah, so I think that this has all been very good. Did you want to rate all the models here out of 10? Or...
I mean, you can do. I mean, yeah, go on, do that. Well, I didn't know if you were going to like rate each other's or just rate all of one person's.
I'd say the Swarmlord is definitely my favourite, with probably a 10 out of 10 I would give. I think the Hormagaunts is something like 8. I think there's definitely some places that I could have probably improved for them. And the Lictor, I probably give about the same. I think there's some areas like the recesses in there I could have made a bit darker. But it's all about improving, you know?
And I think that's what I meant before about rating, because the thing is, I think if you're trying to rate your own, I mean, you're probably always going to be a bit hard on yourself. Well, I know I am, because I know you've told me before now. Because the thing is, the Necron Warriors, right, I know they're the basic infantry unit, but, you know, there's lots of improvements I could have done. Right, aged it a bit better. Probably made, like, the eyes or the green stand out a little bit differently. I mean, there's a bit, like, when I'm looking at it now, you know, there's some of it has gone in places I don't want it to. I know there's a bit of a crack in his head to sort of simplify, you know, like there's a bit of green coming down out of his eye. So I'd give that maybe a 6, something like that. The Doomsday Stalker, I do like this one, but I probably like this one more because, one, obviously it's a more bigger unit.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's going to stand out more regardless. But 2, I think because it was so big, it was easier to paint, and I think
I do agree with that. Yeah,
I think with the bigger units it's going to be easier to paint because there's less finicky little intrinsic bits you have to get to, and so it's just easier to paint. But obviously it's longer to paint because it's such a bigger model. So I'd give that one, I'd say, an 8, because there are still improvements, because I know up here, specifically with the green around the tubes of the cannon, there's like some kind of like the green's like fading in some places, and in others it's like brighter. It's like where I tried to put it over, it wasn't the same kind of vibrant, same color of green. However, with the more recent units, the Nihilak ones, which is like the heavy Locust Destroyer, the green on the gun is like the same color on all the dots.
Yes.
And then the same's on the backs and stuff like that. So I think, you know, the more you, obviously, you know, this goes with everything, like, you know, but the more you do in terms of paint or anything you do in life, you know, you're going to get better at it regardless. You're just going to have to
practice. It's all about practice.
Yeah, exactly. So this one, I would say I'd give an 8 again. I'd give an 8 or 9, maybe, possibly. I feel like there could be this. I think with that one, though, I think there's just more things I could have done. I wouldn't want to try and start practicing, maybe put in, like, painted symbols on, because I wanted to put, like, golden stripes down his shoulder.
That would have been really difficult.
Yeah, or like just add that extra bit of detail to him, you know, to make him pop out a bit more. But or just like edge highlighting on some areas, because I need to learn how to do that a bit more. But no, I'm happy with it so far. I can't wait to see what models we both make next. And yeah, that's what we wanted to talk about today on this very special video.
Yeah.
In terms of like up and coming content, there's some other things we have been talking about in terms of reviews. So one in particular, Stargate.
Yes.
Because I've always been a massive fan of Stargate. You have been recently brought into it because I've told you about it, and you've literally watched them in chronological order from the very original movie to all SG-1 seasons 1 to 10, all of Atlantis 1 to 5 seasons, and Stargate Continuum and Stargate Arc of Truth and all that business. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about there, and I'm interested to see both of our opinions. Me from watching it back in the day when it was on, and you recently
watching it
now. Yeah. And there are other things as well, we do want to talk about. So stay tuned for that. Possibly more shorts on more models that we get into. So again, a big thank you to everyone who supported us through this journey on the channel. It makes a great deal to us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And I can't think of anything else to add.
Neither can I.
In that case, that is going to be it from me, Dewi, and my brother.
Oh,
and we will catch you all in the next video. Bye-bye.
Ta-da.